What is Chinamaxxing? It is a new phenomena. All of a sudden, it's all over social media. That is the fun part of social media, that they make all these things up, right? Chinamaxxing is now a real thing. And we're going to look at a clip from Fox News. And it's just, yeah, hilarious, but also very, very insightful.
Holding a hearing to look into claims that foreign actors may be secretly influencing U.S. nonprofits. A report
Isn't that what the United States always does?
Democratic Socialists of America has foreign ties that are working to undermine federal authorities under the guise of protests, saying they found, quote, the DSA's rhetoric matches the anti-U.S. propaganda of foreign adversaries. Xi Van Fleet, a survivor of Mao's revolution, joins me now. And the report goes on to state the documented facts support recommending a limited fact-finding FARA investigation to clarify the nature of DSA's relationships with Venezuelan and Cuban government-linked entities and its engagement with political environments involving the People's Republic of China. So are foreign adversaries, namely China, actively behind the push towards socialism here in the U.S.?
All right, so let me just cut in a little bit. So he calls her a survival of Mao's revolution. Like, that is... What is a survivor of Mao's revolution? Like, honestly, 1.4 billion people are survivors of Mao's revolution. Xi Jinping is a survivor of Mao's revolution. The entire Communist Party of China is a survivor of Mao's revolution. Each and every single Chinese and non-Chinese living in China is a survivor of Mao's revolution. It is so ridiculous. I mean, the things that they use, the wording, is just the way that they want to fearmonger and to make words up like it means something. That's just hilarious. I want to thank all the people that bought me a coffee, because I could buy another external expansion hard drive, another terabyte to save the videos, because it takes a lot of things. And that is why Buy Me a Coffee is, to help me to keep on going. And I certainly, really, really, from the bottom of my heart, want to thank the people that did buy me a coffee. And if you also want to buy me a coffee, the link will be in the description, but you can only donate if you have more than enough money. If you don't, that's no problem. Just like the video, share the video. It means just as much to me as a nice cup of coffee.
Yes, absolutely. You see it everywhere. And then the recent thing is what's trending is called Chinamaxxing. Even though it's basically, you see it on the TikTok, but I also see it on X. And that is absolutely bears the hallmark of CCP's publicity department and United Front Work Department operations. The first one is about propaganda. The second one is about influence. And influence work is something that CCP is expert of. They will capture the elite. In this case, they capture a lot of the influencers in social media, especially in TikTok. And most of the people who are influenced have no idea that they are the target. And some, of course, they do, because they get paid handsomely. And one of the examples is Hassan Piker. He went to China for 2 weeks and come back, a Chinese, now leading the Chinamaxxing on the social media.
Okay, so so what she says doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, I have to cut it here, otherwise I will forget. She is saying that some people don't even know. How? Anybody have seen anything from the government of China that is actually influencing the people? Like, honestly, China is I think a lot of Chinese people in China are actually a little bit disappointed in their government that they're not using their soft power enough. And she is saying, oh yeah, the people, they don't know. If they don't know, then how are they Chinamaxxing? How have they been influenced? And the other ones are being paid. This is the typical way of talking to make sure that no matter what way, there's only one way of thinking, and that is they have been either influenced or they have been paid. It can never be that they actually like China, that they actually agree with China. No, it must be in another different way. And everybody who will be like, yeah, but I've been to China and I've seen China and I think this and this is great, they will say you've been influenced or you have been paid to delegitimize you. This is how it goes. And then she talks about Hassan Piker. Hassan Piker already was a socialist way before, years before he ever went to China. He went to China to see for himself. And what he found out is that it was actually living up more higher to its expectation than it actually was in his expectation. If that makes sense. Sorry, English is not my first language. So it's his experience. Nobody need to influence him for that. He just took a plane to China and went and saw that it is a great country. What's wrong with that? And all these other influencers are also. You see Americans are influencing. How is China influencing? They don't.
But there is a more important question to ask.
Yes,
why the Chinese influence be able to capture the American audience, the young people especially. And I think it is really because of the educational system.
I think you're right. You're 100% right.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Chinamaxxing, and you kind of given a little detail on it. I want to explain a little bit more to the audience of what Chinamaxxing is. You mentioned it's
okay. Let me first, before you go and explain what Chinamaxxing is, because I'm also very interested, let me first explain why people are so attracted to China. If people in a country start to look at another country and they're going to say, oh yeah, China is great, we should have these things over here. Mostly it is out of disappointment over their own country. Or they just see those things and they think, hey, that's great. We can learn a lot from China. China did amazing things. They break historic record after record. It's a civilization that went down several times and climbed up again. No other civilization did it even one time. China did it several times. And she is there propagating like all the Chinese are stupid or something. Her own people. But anyway, she's getting paid for it. That's one thing for sure. We can say that honestly, right? It is so ridiculous. Americans, if you don't like it, you should look at your own country. These people go to China and they don't see homeless people. They go back to their own country and they cannot even walk over the street without tripping over homeless people. They go to China and they leave their laptop on a table. They forget it there. They come back 3 hours later and their laptop is there. They cannot even walk in the United States with the laptop in their hand without it being robbed from them. These people are taking a metro or subway and they see it is extremely clean and nobody is punching them in the face, nobody is throwing them in front of a metro. They land on JFK, they take the metro in New York, and what will they see? The exact opposite. Before they get into the metro, they've walked through all the garbage and dirt, then they got hit in the face and somebody tried to push them on the track. They don't need the government of China to influence them to see that it is different. The only thing is, what is it that they like more? And apparently, China is doing something good that even the American people like it. So instead of getting angry with China and blaming China, you could be looking at your own country. Say, oh, wait a minute. So they like clean metro stations without being pushed in front of the metro, without being punched in the face. Right. Maybe we should give it to them. Maybe we're going to make the most advanced metro system the world has ever seen. We're going to throw as much money on it like we do that we throw on wars. That is something, maybe, right? You know what? We're going to solve the homeless problem, not by making it illegal, but making sure that everybody is going to be housed. So when our Americans go to China and they see no homeless, they will be saying, well, that's the same at home. We also don't have homeless. That's not special. That's how it's supposed to be. We're going to make an effort that the people don't need to steal anymore. So the people can place their laptop and leave it over there. We're going to create a society where people are safe, just like in China. So when Americans go to China and they will say, well, it's not much different than my country. I mean, this is how you solve the problem. Anyway, continue.
TikTok. It's the newest craze. And basically, it's young Americans romanticizing and glamorizing living in communist China. Quote, Chinamaxxing isn't just a lifestyle trend. Many of the young influencers praising Chinese culture are actively denigrating America. They're aesthetically, morally, and politically defecting to another superpower. And she, as somebody who lived and fled the Mao Revolution, what's your message to those who romanticize communism, especially young Americans who grew up here with every advantage in the world, now saying, I want to live under communist rule? What's your message to them, Xi?
Yeah, my message is you have to learn history. We have to teach our children real history. And this, I watched
she's right with that
podcast about this topic. They say, Chinese people and we are the same people. It is cool to learn their culture. It's not cool. Chinese people are different from American people. Chinese people are not free. And this is something that we have to teach our young kids. And this is not about learning another culture. This is about rejecting our value, our culture, and it is, as you said, romanticized communism. I have to say that they have to know the young people in today's China facing the collapse of the economy, they choose to lay flat. What it means, they stop pursuing career because there's nothing to pursue. And they decided not to become a consumer because there's no money to spend. And they decided not to get married and not have children because they don't see any future. And these people will trade places with American youth at a heartbeat.
Such a great.
Okay, that's a total lie. I don't know where to begin. Okay. Lying flat is something else. Lying flat is these students come from there and there's a lot of competition on the job market. That's true. It's hard to get a job because the competition is extremely, extremely fierce. However, in China, the living standard has become so high. So the wages has gone up. They have deflation. So the purchasing power is going up. The wages are going up. So what these kids are doing is just waiting for the best opportunity. They can do that. In the United States, you can't do that because your study loan is so extremely high that you need to directly have a job, even if it is not for something that you studied. Maybe flipping burgers, just so that you can pay off your student loan. It's just very simple, right? All right, let's get back to what this dude said.
Quote, Chinamaxxing isn't just a lifestyle trend. Many of the young influencers praising Chinese culture are actively denigrating America. They're aesthetically, morally, and politically defecting to another superpower.
All right, so this is extremely propagandizing the people and, setting people up. It's just utterly disgusting. So this is so wrong on so many different levels. These people are not defecting. These people see that their nation is crumbling, that their nation has been lying to them. They see how China is developing. It is undeniable that the United States is crumbling apart and that China is rising. That goes also for Europe, all right? All the imperialist, the capitalist nations under influence of Western capitalists are all crumbling and shaking on their foundation. And what do they see? They see a country that is opening the doors, giving them a glimpse of their country. It's a country that have been demonized and its people have been dehumanized from the day they were born. But what do these kids see? These kids see that they have been lied to by their government, that they have been lied to by their mainstream media like this. They see a total different picture with their own eyes. Some even take the airplane and go off to China. And what do they see there? That the picture is even more blurred. Because what they see is the exact opposite. What they see in China is what actually is an American dream. The difference between China and the United States is that the Chinese are living their dream and the Americans need to go to bed and sleep to have that dream. The United States, if they want to not have Chinamaxxing, then they should change their country to the will of their people. It is as simple as that. Stop all the wars. Stop lining up the pockets of the capitalist and start caring for your own people. And soon enough, you will see all these kids, these same kids, will wave an American flag and say, our country, we love our country. That's all you gotta do. But no. Instead of looking inward, what you have done wrong, which creates the causes that these kids turn to China, instead of doing that, you're going to try to use propaganda against your own people. That's honestly the wrong road to go. Anyway, let me know in the comment section what you all think of this, but please keep it respectful. We're not uncivilized barbarians unlike some others. Please like, share, and if you have not yet, then follow. And as always, have a great day. Your favorite half Chinese.